The silent edge, the stars at the edge of the galaxy, were silent. They burned faintly as if tired after a billion years of shining. Around one of these dying suns, a lone alien ship drifted in the darkness. Its silver hull reflected the pale light of the stars, and inside, a small crew watched their screens with nervous eyes. Captain Zara, tall and calm, stood at the center of the bridge. Her voice was low but steady. "Report. What is this signal we are picking up?" The crew exchanged worried glances. The signal was unlike anything they had ever recorded. It was not a random burst of radiation, not a natural echo of a dead star. No, this was different. It pulsed in regular patterns. It had rhythm. It was language. First Officer Keln's voice trembled. "It is repeating, Captain." "The pattern cycles every 60 seconds. It is not alien code, we know. It is not one of the common galactic languages." Captain Zira narrowed her eyes. At the edge of the galaxy, no one expected to find life. This place was supposed to be empty. Beyond here was nothing but the void, the endless dark. Yet something was speaking. The navigator whispered, almost afraid. "Maybe. It is a ghost signal, an echo of some lost empire." But the engineer shook his head. "No echo lasts this clear. Someone or something is still here." The silence of the bridge grew heavy. Each crew member felt the weight of the unknown pressing against their hearts. The ship moved closer to the dead star. Its corona was faint, its surface cracked and trembling. Around it, drifting like broken teeth, were fragments of metal, ruins of an old structure. "Magnify," the captain ordered. The screen zoomed in. The ruins were not random. They had shape, they had design. The fragments had once been a ring, a massive station built around the star itself. Now it was shattered, broken into pieces that drifted endlessly in the cold. But the signal was still strong. The probe was launched. The crew watched in silence as it flew into the ruins. The feed appeared on the screen. Broken towers, crushed corridors, shattered chambers, yet deep inside the probe found light. A chamber still alive. The crew leaned forward. In the darkness of the galaxy's edge, against all odds, a beacon was still burning. Its lights flickered weakly, but they carried a message, a voice across the void. The probe decoded the signal. Slowly, letters appeared on the screen. At first they were strange, curved, and unfamiliar. Then the translator clicked into place and the words appeared in their language. Everyone froze. The word was simple. One word repeated again and again, echoing across endless space. Humanity. A sharp gasp filled the bridge. The navigator whispered, "Impossible. Humans are only a myth. A story told by old traders." The first officer clenched his fists. "My grandmother told me tales of them. They were said to be fearless. They traveled further than anyone, but no one has ever proven they existed." The engineer shook his head. "If this is real, if this word is true, then everything we know about history is wrong." Captain Zara said nothing. Her eyes were fixed on the word glowing on the screen. Humanity. It felt heavy, powerful, almost alive. She finally spoke. "Continue the probe. I want to see everything." The probe moved deeper. It found more chambers filled with dust and silence. Some rooms were empty, but others had strange carvings on the walls. Symbols, warnings, images of stars collapsing, of galaxies burning. Then it found a sealed door. The probe pushed forward. The door cracked open, and behind it was a room untouched by time. In the center stood a single device, still glowing faintly. On its surface were words, written in the same strange language, then translated by the system. The message read, "We reached the edge. We found the truth. Do not let it be known. The stars are not what you believe." The crew stared in silence. The words felt like a cold hand gripping their throats. The navigator whispered, "What truth? What did they find?" The engineer shook his head. "Something too dangerous. Something they tried to hide." Captain Zira's voice was calm, but her eyes showed fear. "We are not alone here. If humanity was real, then they left something behind. And maybe, just maybe, they are still out there." The ship fell silent again. Outside, the dead star flickered faintly as if watching them. The ruins floated like bones in the darkness. And deep inside, the word humanity kept echoing, carrying across the stars like a warning. For the first time, the crew felt the edge of the galaxy was not empty. It was haunted. The forgotten world. The ruins around the dead star grew larger on the ship's screens. The alien crew stared as their probe moved deeper inside the shattered ring. Every fragment of metal, every cracked wall whispered of a forgotten world. Captain Zera's voice broke the silence. Record everything. If this is real, history has lied to us. The crew nodded, but unease filled the air. Legends of humanity were supposed to be myths, stories told to frighten children, tales of a race that dared to go where no one else could. Yet here was proof. Here, at the edge of the galaxy, their name burned like fire across the void. The probe entered another chamber, one that had survived the destruction better than the rest. Its walls were lined with shelves, and on those shelves lay thin metallic slabs, data archives. The crew gasped. Ancient records, whispered the engineer. If these are still readable. The probe scanned one of the slabs. It hummed, then suddenly the ship's systems lit up. A projection filled the bridge, flickering but clear enough to see. It was a human. The figure stood tall, wrapped in a suit of strange design. His face was hard, his eyes sharp. The alien crew froze as the image spoke, the translation struggling but steady. We were here. We crossed the edge. We found the truth. The stars are not eternal. They burn on a fuel unseen, and that fuel has a price. The image flickered, then vanished. First Officer Keln's face was pale. This is madness. Stars powered by something other than fusion? That's impossible, the captain's voice was low. And yet he said it. The engineer leaned closer to the console. If humans discovered this secret, maybe that's why they vanished. Maybe they were silenced. Another archive activated. This time a woman appeared. Her voice carried sorrow. Her eyes filled with fear. To those who find this, do not repeat our mistake. We learned too much. The galaxy cannot know. If the empires discover this truth, they will fight until the stars themselves are torn apart. Hide it, forget us. Let humanity be nothing but a story. The projection collapsed into static. The bridge was silent. The crew felt a chill deeper than the cold of space. Navigator Sari finally spoke. Captain, what should we do? If this knowledge is true, it will destroy everything. Empires will fight. Wars will burn across the stars. Zera's gaze was fixed on the ruins. Knowledge cannot stay hidden forever. But we must decide if we will be its keepers, or its betrayers. Her words hung heavy. Suddenly the probe picked up something new. A faint energy signature, deeper in the ruins. The crew watched as the feed revealed a sealed chamber, untouched by time. Unlike the others, it was not broken. It was alive. The probe forced its way in. Inside, a sphere floated above the ground, glowing with blue light. Symbols pulsed across its surface. The engineer gasped. That's no archive. That's a power source. But then the sphere pulsed again and the ship's systems went dark for a moment. When the lights returned, the translator had processed a new message. The screen flashed with words. We are not gone. Humanity endures. The crew's blood ran cold. First Officer Keln whispered, Captain, does this mean they're still alive? No one answered. The silence itself was heavy with fear. Then the probe camera shifted. On the wall behind the sphere were carvings. The images showed ships massive and sharp, flying into the darkness beyond the galaxy. Not destroyed. Not extinct, leaving. The navigator trembled. They went further. Beyond the edge. The engineer's voice cracked. But where? There is nothing beyond the galaxy. Only the endless void. Captain Zera's eyes narrowed. Or maybe there is something. Something they found. Something they feared. And they chose exile over silence. The sphere pulsed once more. Another message appeared, this time chilling in its clarity. Do not search for us. If you follow, the stars will fall. The crew exchanged looks of terror. To discover humanity was one thing. To realize they still existed, hidden, waiting, was another. The captain stood tall, but her hands were clenched. We cannot keep this to ourselves. The council must know. But the navigator shook her head violently. No, if the council learns, every empire will hunt them. War will consume us all. The bridge fell into chaos. Voices clashed, fear, anger, disbelief. The forgotten world of humanity had returned, and it carried a truth too dangerous to hold. Finally, the captain raised her voice. Enough, we will decide later. For now, record everything. Humanity was here. Humanity may still be here, and the galaxy will never be the same again. Outside the ship, the ruins drifted silently. The dying star flickered weakly. But in that flicker was something more, a warning or perhaps a promise. And far beyond, in the endless black, something unseen stirred. The galaxy was no longer safe. The alien ship drifted in silence. The crew was still shaken by the human messages carved into the ruins. The sphere had told them the unthinkable. We are not gone. Humanity endures. Captain Zara stood tall at the center of the bridge, her eyes fixed on the ruins outside. Her crew whispered among themselves, voices filled with fear. First Officer Keln broke the silence. Captain, if they are still alive, what if they know we are here? What if they are watching us right now? No one laughed. The thought was too real. The probe's discovery had shaken them all. If humanity survived hidden beyond the galaxy, then every empire, every history book, every belief about the stars was a lie. Suddenly, the ship's sensors screamed. A new signal appeared. Not faint, not broken like the old beacons, but strong, sharp, alive. The navigator's voice cracked. Captain, it's coming from the far side of the ruins. Something is moving. The crew froze as the cameras turned. From behind the broken ring, a shadow emerged. At first it looked like debris. Then it shifted. It was a ship, small, black, and unlike anything they had seen before. It glided through the void without sound, its surface absorbing the starlight, as if space itself clung to it. No engines glowed, yet it moved with terrifying precision. Contact, the engineer whispered. Unknown vessel. It's locking onto us. The bridge filled with alarms. The alien crew panicked. Captain Zara raised her hand. Silence. Hold your positions. Do not fire. The crew obeyed, but their eyes trembled with fear. The unknown ship stopped only a few kilometers away. Then, without warning, a voice filled their bridge. Not through speakers. Not through comms. Directly inside their minds. Why are you here? The crew gasped. The voice was human, calm, deep, and commanding. First Officer Keln clutched his head. Telepathic? No. This is something else. Captain Zara stood firm. We are explorers. We seek knowledge. Who speaks to us? There was a long silence. Then the voice returned, colder this time. You should not have come. This place was sealed for a reason. Leave, before the truth consumes you. The crew exchanged terrified looks. The captain's heart pounded, but her voice remained steady. If you are human, then we have found the truth. History denied you. Why? Why were you hidden from us? Silence again. Then slowly their screens flickered. A figure appeared, a man. He stood in shadows, his face only half visible. His eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the light of the dead star. His voice was low, but every word felt heavy. We were never gone. We walked where no empire dared. And when we returned, we found betrayal. They erased us. They buried our name. But we endured. The crew was frozen. A living human here at the edge of the galaxy. Navigator Sorry whispered. It's true. The legends. All true? The man's eyes narrowed. You should not have come. The knowledge we guard is dangerous. Your empires are not ready. If you bring this truth back, you will burn the galaxy. The captain stepped forward. We cannot ignore what we have seen. The council must know. The man's expression darkened. The council? His voice grew sharper. The same council that betrayed us? That silenced us? You would run to them like children carrying fire into dry grass? His words struck like knives. First Officer Keln shouted, If you are so powerful, why hide? Why not reveal yourselves and rule the stars? For the first time, the man smiled. But it was not warm. It was cold, dangerous. Rule? We do not rule. We watch, we wait, and when the stars cry out, humanity will return. The crew shivered. There was something in his voice, something vast, as if he spoke not just for himself, but for an entire hidden empire. Then suddenly the ship shook. Warnings blared. Another vessel appeared on sensors, this one massive, alien, and armed. The engineer shouted, It's the Corran Empire. They must have followed us here. The crew panicked. The Corran were ruthless conquerors. If they saw the human ruins, if they discovered the truth, the galaxy would be thrown into war. The human's eyes narrowed. His voice echoed through the bridge. You brought them here. Fools. Captain Zara turned, desperate. Then help us. If you want the secret hidden, you cannot let them see this place. The human paused. His gaze was cold but thoughtful. Finally he spoke, Very well. But know this, your survival will not be mercy. It will be a warning. Outside, the black human vessel moved like a shadow of death. With a single flash, it unleashed power unlike anything the crew had ever seen. The Koran warship screamed as its shields shattered. In seconds, the mighty conquerors were reduced to drifting fire. The crew sat in stunned silence. The human's voice returned, softer now, but filled with menace. Leave. Forget what you have seen, or the stars will remember you. The screen went dark. The black ship vanished into the void as if it had never existed. The alien crew trembled. For the first time, they understood. Humanity had not just endured. Humanity had become something greater, something terrifying, and the galaxy was not ready for them. The truth that burns the alien ship floated in silence, still trembling from what it had witnessed. The black human vessel had destroyed the mighty Koran warship in seconds like it was nothing more than dust. The alien crew could not forget the man's cold words. Your survival will not be mercy. It will be a warning. But warnings were not enough. The crew needed answers. On the bridge, Captain Zara's eyes were fixed on the empty space where the human ship had vanished. First Officer Keln finally spoke, his voice shaking. Captain, we should leave. Before more empires arrive, before they come back. But Zara shook her head. No, humanity is hiding something far greater than ships or weapons. We must know what they found. We must know what truth shattered the stars. The crew exchanged fearful looks. The ruins still floated around the dead star, silent and ancient. Somewhere inside them, the humans had left messages, warnings, and secrets. The captain's voice was firm. Send the probe deeper. Scan everything. The probe drifted into the darkest part of the ring. Its light beams cut through the dust, revealing a vast chamber hidden at the core of the structure. The crew gasped. It was not a storage room. It was a cathedral. Walls stretched high and wide, covered in carvings that glowed faintly. Images of stars collapsing, galaxies breaking apart, entire civilizations burning. At the center of the chamber floated a crystal sphere larger than the ship itself. It pulsed slowly like a beating heart. The engineer's hands trembled. This is no machine. It feels alive. The translator flickered, catching fragments of the carvings. Words appeared on the screen. The stars burn not by chance. They are fed. They are alive. And their hunger never ends. The crew froze. Navigator Sari whispered, Alive? Stars are alive? The engineer shook his head violently. No, impossible. Stars are fusion, gas, gravity. Nothing more. But Captain Zara stared at the pulsing sphere, her voice heavy. If humans discovered this, then maybe our science was never complete. Maybe the light of every star is not just physics. Maybe something deeper fuels them. The probe moved closer to the sphere. The carvings became clearer. The translator flashed again. They feed on thought, on memory, on life. Every being that dies, every soul that fades. The stars consume. They burn with what is lost. The crew gasped in horror. First Officer Keln's face went pale. This means every death in the galaxy, every war, every massacre. It makes the stars burn brighter. The navigator's voice shook. And if that is true, then we are not living in the galaxy. The galaxy is living on us. Suddenly, the probe's camera glitched. For a heartbeat, the crew saw not just the ruins, but faces, human faces, screaming in silence, their eyes full of fire. Then the feed snapped back. The engineer slammed his console. This sphere, it's a recorder. It holds the truth of what the humans found. But it's too dangerous. We can't look further. Captain Zara's voice was cold. We can't turn back now. As if responding to her defiance, the chamber came alive. The sphere pulsed faster, brighter, until the whole screen was blinding. And then another projection appeared. A human woman stood in front of them. Her voice echoed, steady but sorrowful. You should not have come here. We begged the stars to stay silent, but they never listen. Know this, humanity discovered the truth. The stars are not guardians of life, they are predators. Every civilization that rises, every empire that falls feeds them. The galaxy itself is a cage. We learned too late. The crew sat frozen, their hearts pounding. The woman continued. We tried to warn the others. They silenced us. They erased us. And so we chose exile. We went beyond the galaxy to escape their hunger. But if you reveal what you now know, the stars themselves will awaken. And when they awaken, no empire will survive. The projection flickered and died. The bridge fell silent. No one breathed. Finally, the navigator spoke, her voice small. If this is true, then every war, every death in the galaxy was not just chance. It was feeding them. The engineer slammed his fist on the console. This truth will tear the galaxy apart. If the empires learn, they'll fight endlessly to control it, and every death will make the stars burn stronger. First Officer Keln whispered, "Maybe that was humanity's plan. To vanish, to starve the stars." Captain Zara clenched her fists. Or maybe they prepare for something worse. The crew looked at her, fear in their eyes. Worse? Her voice was low, almost a whisper. If stars are alive, then one day, they will want more than just our deaths. They will want us alive. They will want us to serve. The shattered stars. The alien ship drifted in silence, its crew paralyzed by the terrible truth. The stars were alive, feeding on death. Humanity had discovered this secret, and for that they had been erased. Captain Zara stood at the bridge window, staring into the void. Her crew whispered behind her, voices trembling. First Officer Keln broke the silence. "Captain, we can't take this back. If the Council learns, they'll tear the galaxy apart. Empires will fight to control the truth. Millions will die, and the stars will only grow stronger." But the navigator shook her head. "And if we say nothing, then the truth is lost, and one day the stars will awaken. Humanity left us a warning, maybe even a chance. We can't just bury it again." The bridge was divided. Fear clashed with duty. Before the captain could speak, alarms screamed. Multiple signals appeared on the sensors. The engineer's voice cracked. "Captain, warships. Not one empire, 3. The Corinne, the Vanar Dominion, and the Siraxi Alliance. They've all traced us here." The crew panicked. These were rival powers, always at war with each other. Yet now all had come to the edge of the galaxy for one reason: the ruins. The secret, humanity. The comms lit up with voices from the incoming fleets. "This is the Corin Empire. Surrender the ruins to us. The Dominion claims all knowledge here by right. Siraxi forces demand immediate access to the sphere." Each message carried the same hunger. Not for peace, for power. Captain Zara clenched her fists. They can't be allowed inside. If they discover the truth. But it was already too late. The 3 fleets opened fire on each other, desperate to seize the ruins. The void lit up with explosions, a storm of plasma and metal. Dozens of ships shattered in minutes. Thousands died. Their screams lost to the stars and in the darkness. The stars flickered, the engineer whispered, horrified. "They're feeding. Every death. Every explosion. The stars are burning brighter." The bridge shook as shock waves rolled through the ruins. First Officer Keln stared in horror. "We're watching it happen. The truth. It's real. The stars are waking." Suddenly the lights flickered. A shadow passed across the bridge. And then he appeared, the human, the same cold-eyed man who had warned them before. His voice filled the ship sharp as a blade. "Fools. You brought them here. Now the galaxy bleeds." Captain Zara stepped forward. "Then help us. If you want the secret hidden, stop this war." The man's expression was unreadable. Behind him, for just a moment, the crew glimpsed something vast. An armada of ships, black and silent, waiting in the void beyond the galaxy. "Humanity's hidden fleet, we warned you," the man said. "The stars feed on war, and now you have given them a feast." The captain's voice cracked. "Then why do you stand idle? Why hide in shadows while the galaxy burns?" The man's eyes glowed faintly. "Because this is not our war. It is your test. We endure, we wait. But if the stars awaken fully, then humanity will return." Outside, the battle grew worse. The 3 empires tore each other apart, desperate to control the ruins. Entire fleets vanished in fire. And with every death, the dying star at the center of the ruins pulsed brighter, hotter, as if it were alive. The navigator screamed, "Captain, the star, it's waking up!" The sphere inside the ruins pulsed too, words flashing across the alien screens. "They are listening. They are hungry. They are coming." The ship shook violently as the star flared. A beam of light ripped through the void, striking one of the Empire fleets. Thousands of ships vanished instantly. The crew fell to the floor, their faces pale with terror. The engineer whispered, "The star itself, it's killing them." And then silence. The battlefield was nothing but wreckage and drifting fire. The 3 empires were gone. Only the alien ship remained, trembling in the shadow of the awakened star. The human man's voice returned, softer now, but filled with steel. "This is the truth. The stars are not eternal. They hunger, they wait, and now they know you are listening. He paused, his gaze burning into the crew. Remember this. Humanity endures. We are not gone. When the stars come for you, we will return, but not as saviors. As fire. The projection vanished. Captain Zara stood in silence, her crew staring at her with fear in their eyes. She knew the truth could never be hidden again. The ruins, the battle, the awakened star. It would all spread across the galaxy, empires would collapse. Wars would ignite. And with every death, the stars would grow stronger. The navigator's voice shook. Captain, what do we do now? Zara's eyes were cold as she stared at the flickering star. We survive. We remember. And we pray humanity returns before the stars consume us all. Outside, the star pulsed one last time, its light stretching across the void. It was not just a dying sun anymore, it was awake, and the galaxy would never be the same.